Okay, let's talk about level 5. Sorry about the last video. I didn't realize until afterwards that my screen recording software didn't capture the mouse cursor. We're going to try out Grommet this time to improve that situation a little bit. So the first thing I'm noticing on this level is that there's a yellow staircase right here. A staircase is this shape of similar colored viruses where they sort of go over one, up one, over one, up one, over one, up one, over one, up one, and so on. If the staircase begins and ends in the same direction like this one does, which begins horizontally and ends horizontally, it's a little bit more efficient to make your clears in that same direction. So for example here, if we make this horizontal clear, it costs 2 pill halves. This horizontal clear costs 2 pill halves. So we can get rid of the whole staircase with just 4 pill halves. If we were to take all of those clears vertically, it would need 3 pill halves here, 2 here, and 3 here, for a total of 8 pill halves. So it's about twice as fast to do it all horizontally. The general rule is if the staircase begins and ends in the same direction, it costs an additional 4 pill halves to clear it in the slow direction than the fast direction, no matter how long the staircase is. If the staircase begins and ends in different directions, so it starts horizontally and ends vertically, or starts vertically and ends horizontally, then you can make all your clears in either direction and it costs the same. The second thing I'm noticing is that these two columns right here are very dense. Most of the other columns have some empty space like here and here and here and here, but these two are almost all viruses from top to bottom. So these are going to be two very slow columns, and we're going to be highly prioritizing making clears in these two columns. Finally, it's good to look for viruses that are lined up to make it easier to make clears. So for example, these two, if we can get a horizontal clear, that'll feel really good. If we can clear these two from the middle, that will feel really good because, again, that's a little bit more efficient. It costs only 2 pill halves to go from the middle versus 3 each if we cleared them separately. So it's about 3 times faster to go from the middle. And there's one more instance of that, which is these 3 red viruses make that twice. So we have that shape here, and we have that same shape here. We can't get both, of course, but if we can get one or the other, that will feel really good. The spaces in between are currently occupied by viruses, but that won't always be the case. That's everything I've had time to notice before the level starts. So let's see how things progress. So on this piece, I decided to start working on this horizontal. I haven't worked out all the details of the plan yet. As you can see, it's going to be a little bit tricky to complete the horizontal because there's viruses on either end blocking me from making that horizontal. But my thought was, if I get a yellow piece in there, it's a very low risk way to proceed because even if I don't figure out a way to complete that horizontal, it's also making progress towards this vertical. So we might as well get that started and give ourselves as much time to think about what to do there as possible. And you can see at about this point I realized now that these blue viruses are gone, we can rest something on top of this red virus to finish off that horizontal clear. The ideal thing would be a red-yellow so that we get the horizontal and start making progress on this red virus. And indeed, that's the exact pill we got, so we got a little bit lucky. But even if we hadn't gotten it right away, we would have just watched and waited for that to come up. Okay, for the next little bit, we're going to be making clears on the priority columns as much as we can. Every piece we can put towards that, we're putting towards that. This red-blue piece, we don't have a super great place for it near the top. So you don't want to put it on these red viruses, because then you'll have a little bit of blue junk that you have to waste time clearing away. You could think about putting it here on top of this red virus, but that locks you into either having a long fall time or else figuring out a way to make this horizontal clear, which I think is going to be very difficult because I'm blocked from being able to put a pill in this spot, and I don't have a platform to rest something on top of to finish off in this direction. You could think about putting this red-blue pill here, here, or here to be lining up with a red virus and a blue virus. What I don't like about the top one is the very long fall time that it would require. The middle one blocks off a route of pill movement through the column, through this column here. And having columns to move pills in is an important resource to preserve in these early uncramped levels. The bottom would be very efficient, but it's a little bit risky because it requires 2 more identical red-blue pills in these 2 spots to pay off. So with those things ruled out, the last thing to look at is this clear that we were talking about at the beginning. And as this pill was falling, I was sort of thinking about, do I want the blue half on this side or the blue half on this side? And I noticed in the area there are some other blue viruses, including a blue virus in our high priority columns. And so I thought maybe there's a chance that we could start working on a horizontal clear for this blue virus. Maybe we don't get the pieces we need for it, and then that's okay. But if we do get the pieces we need for it, we might as well get ourselves started on that process. So that's going to be the plan. Okay, I wasn't too sure about what to do with this yellow piece in the game. I think now, in review, the move that I would choose is to place it horizontally here, so that when this blue virus and this blue pill half get cleared horizontally, the yellow pill will fall down into place to be ready for a horizontal clear on this yellow virus. But I didn't see that move in the game. And the things that I was thinking about are where it is and farther off to the left, which I'll talk about in a second. What I like about where it is that it gives me a lot of pill placements that are now useful. So if I get a yellow-red pill, I can put it here to start making progress on this red virus. Even if I get several of them, I can sort of put them there, and then vertically here to make that red virus disappear. So I can soak up a lot of red-yellow at this point. If I get a red-blue pill, yellow-blue pill, I can put it here and aim to have the blue half fall down into this slot to continue this horizontal clear. And I can even use pills that don't have any yellow in them. So if I get a double red pill, I can put it here to make that clear that we were talking about at the beginning, which would be nice. So there's a lot of things I can do now that that pill is there. The other thing I would be thinking about is putting it somewhere in here to start building up a tower to make this horizontal clear that we were talking about as being very efficient. I didn't like that in this game because I was worried that that would require soaking up several pills to make that tower that I could be putting to better use if I put this yellow pill over here. And I was also a little bit worried that this pill half here would have a long way to fall. Now that I'm reviewing, I don't think that's correct, because I think we could imagine putting a little strut under there as we build our tower to catch that. But that's what I was thinking in game. Okay, we're going to keep trying to slot blue things into that horizontal clear spot. and the random number generator is going to be very generous to us about giving us exactly the pieces we needed for that. Okay, once again I have a double yellow that I can't use, and so now we are going to start building that tower. My judgment was that trying for this was still not worth it for all the same reasons as before, but also because we now have only one blue virus. And so if we're building a tower over here, we're going to be wanting the junk from making this blue virus disappear to fall in this column. And that junk is going to be yellow. And so if we're not careful, it will be very easy for that junk to get in the way of our horizontal clear. So I decided to try getting this red virus here from underneath. Right here I think I had the right instinct, which is to make a little platform to catch this yellow piece from falling. Unfortunately, the implementation was not great because I made it all the same color, and so then you could imagine being forced to make a match 4 of a kind here and then having garbage here that has to fall even farther. Didn't happen that way in the game, but this was a small mistake, I think. And with this red-blue pill, the red half of it is much more useful because we need a lot more red to finish this level than we need blue. So we're going to use the red half, not the blue half. Okay, this is a little bit risky because if we now get further red piece, we'll be sort of forced to place it either here or here if we want to be efficient, and that will make garbage have a long way to fall here or a long way to fall here, about the same distance. So it's going to be a high priority to make a little strut under here, and we got a piece that doesn't have any red next, so we're going to do that right away. Double blue, there's really only one choice, and now for this red-blue pill, the priority has changed. Now we only need one red pill half and one blue pill half to finish the level. So the priority now is about fall time, not about efficiency. Because the fall time for this clear is much lower than the fall time for this clear, that's going to be our priority. And additionally, we can see in the top right that there is some red coming up in the next pill. So that also reduces the priority of making this clear. So we're going to clear the blue, and we're going to use the trick that we discussed in the first video about making clears from underneath so that the other half of the clear doesn't have to fall very far. And that finishes the level. Okay, let's watch that in real time now. As a reminder, we'd really like to make some horizontals here and here, and we're really focusing on this stuff as a priority. We've made our plan about the horizontal on the left, start working on our priority column, continue working on the priority column, and then we are here going to hatch a diabolical plan about horizontals at the bottom. We're going to get rid of this little fall problem here. We don't really have a good place for this yellow, so let's maximize the number of things we can do. Then get this blue in the right place and the other blue in the right place and get these horizontal clears. Perfect. Now we're going to start building our tower on the left. Make a little support for ourselves. Red is the priority, not blue. Red is still the priority, but we need a strut under that thing so it doesn't fall very far. Get some blue. Now blue is the priority, and finish the level.